I'm Gerard, that's Candace, he's Mickey, and this week on Canceled Weekly, we're getting some mall philosophy. A kid learns a life lesson over some cookies, Kanye's ex hates men, and working out is good for your brain. But first, Jelly Roll on Jesus.
And the church is going to die again if they don't find a way to portray him the way he was historically known to be. If you look at the history facts of Jesus, which I think favor Christianity in this weird way, that dude is not the dude y'all have turned him into. Y'all have Americanized Jesus and used him as a way of not only propaganda, but you've weaponized God. That was the opposite of who Jesus was. The same people that you are criticizing and going against are the only people that Jesus had a relationship with in the Bible. He did nothing but protect town whores, prostitutes, people in jail. Like the famous story, let he who without sin cast his first stone. He was protecting a prostitute. It's crazy. It's like, man, that's the opposite of what that dude was doing. So that's my problem with the church. It's like, even if we just go by the 4 books that y'all call the only 4 accounts of him, this dude ran around with 12 thugs. If he was here today, he'd be on a fucking Harley.
Now, fans of the Slick and Thick podcast will know that I have thoughts on this, and we went 90 minutes of sparring with our good friend Ruslan over this very topic.
You did.
So, before I get on my soapbox, let me open it up to you, Candace. What are your thoughts on that clip?
I mean, hallelujah, Jelly Roll. You know what I mean? I have the same qualms. It's in all of the books. It's basically, what's the one? It's the thing in Matthew's. It's ignoring the splinter in your eye while pointing out the plank in someone else, or ignoring the plank in your eye and pointing out the splinter in someone else's, something along those lines. And it's essentially that none of us are perfect. It's not your job to be judgmental. It's your job to love, to have compassion, empathy for your fellow man. It's in the Bible that obviously he was homeboys with Mary Magdalene, who was said to be a prostitute, and now you have these right-wing influencers like Candace Owens, and she goes on the Whatever podcast, and she's like, I'm fascinated by hoes, and she's just so condescending, and it's like, was that really Christian of you? Is that Christ-like to talk to someone like that because you're so perfect?
Yeah, the judgmental aspect of it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, religion can come off pretty judgmental. And I guess, the old expression, sweating like a whore in church. But really, that's, if we got Jesus up on the wall, that's the people that he ran with. That's, you know what I mean? That's someone that, even though it and maybe it's just because of the Americanization and kind of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the Quaker, what do you call that?
Puritanical?
Puritanical. Mm-hmm. Kind of, maybe the puritanical kind of influence and spin they put on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I kind of got a few thoughts on it that I'm kind of running through, but I'm not really sure. I couldn't say exactly how is he being portrayed in your guys' opinions. Well,
listen, I mean,
and how should he be portrayed?
So my thoughts on it are pretty blasphemous and heretical.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I think Jesus not as the Son of God is more interesting than Jesus as the Son of God. The fact that this could be the bastard son of a woman who was raped by an occupying soldier.
You're talking about the Pantera.
What?
You never heard the Pantera theory?
No.
Yeah. So So not only it dates back to like the times of Jesus' death. There's Greek historians who are able to. This is the most heretical thing you can say in the Christian religion is this idea
super blasphemous.
Yeah, of Tiberius Pantera, the soldier, German Syrian soldier who raped at that time probably a 12-year-old Mary who gave birth at 13 years old to Yeshua. And that's, Jesus. And then, there was a huge...
it kind of gives for the Immaculate Conception.
Yeah.
It kind of gives a more realistic, so to speak.
There's so much...
Well, that actually isn't what it means.
No, it's the Immaculate Conception is Mary, not Jesus.
No.
What?
What?
Yeah. So Mary, yeah,
Mary having a not
No,
having
it's not.
sex
It's
and
not.
having
It's not a virgin
no,
birth.
she was
That's a
born without. It's her. She was born without sin or something like that. That's
Yeah,
the,
it's someone without sin.
yeah. The
Whoa.
It's
That's
not a
news to me.
virgin
Mary was she was had this guy Joseph. They didn't have sex or whatever. Now she's pregnant. Joseph, the whole thing with Joseph stayed with her, which made him such a great man because he believed her. And you know, in modern day, it kind of, you know what I mean. It's a little sketchy, but what is your guys' take on it? Because I only heard that she was the virgin mother of.
Yeah, she was. It's two different things. So I forget what video I was watching, but they were saying that the Immaculate Conception was that she was without sin, and then there was also a virgin birth. But like, those things are not the same thing.
I thought it was that she didn't have sex. God put Jesus in her. By some magic.
Yes.
so
That is a thing, or
That
is
is
not?
that is a thing.
So
What were we disagreeing with?
That the term Immaculate Conception isn't referring to the virgin birth. It's referring to her being without sin.
but to your point, Mick, it's
Really?
been co-opted
'Cause it always
as only
made sense
virgin
to me
birth.
that it's it
No, I
was
know.
immaculate that she was able to conceive.
That's what I thought too. And then there was someone that did an art gallery, and they were making fun of Christianity and the absurdity of a virgin birth. And then someone like a religious scholar came in and they said the Immaculate Conception is not the virgin birth. Like there was the virgin birth element, but that was its own thing. The Immaculate Conception was actually the idea that Mary was without sin, so that no human was without sin back then, and that was what was so profound. So they're two different things. They both
So
are
she
part
was
of the
immaculate.
religion.
Like her record,
Right.
that she
Right.
had not sinned.
Yes.
Interesting.
100-0, undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, I'm a history guy. I'm a history nerd. You guys know that. Understanding the history of the situation. What Jelly Roll is talking about, just to get back to the clip, I empathize with, all right? And here in America specifically, you talked about the Puritans, right?
Right.
They came
What
over
did I
here.
call them Quakers before?
Yeah.
I had
Well,
such a brain fart.
But
I probably look
the
like an idiot.
The Quakers
Yeah.
came over here too, and then basically because this is all fallout from the Reformation in England, and they're like, no, this isn't, you guys aren't taking, Christ seriously. We need to live a more, pristine life, and and we have to go over there to do it. So basically, these guys were stuck up. They were so stuck up that Britain was like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, go somewhere else if you want to do that crap. So they came here, and Plymouth Rock, and so all religion has a political aspect to it. The Council of Nicaea, where they picked which books went into,
Right,
that's a treaty between Eastern Rome and Western Rome, essentially, right? They just co-opted the old pagan holidays. Happy Merry Christmas coming up, by the way. And they took this idea of folding in these rebels who had this messianic destiny that they were trying to fulfill. When Rome, and if you're still seeing it today with what's happening in Israel and Gaza, you're seeing these same prophecies being promulgated. Like this is the coming of the chosen one. When the religious lands, when the holy lands are occupied, that's when the Son of God will return. So Jesus wasn't the only one. People thought John the Baptist was the coming of it, and then everybody knew the end of that is martyrdom. So John the Baptist was like, yeah, no, this guy. You guys should get behind this guy. That's your guy right there. And that's it's all very much been used as a political thing. So give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Then Jesus said that after he flipped over the table. There's just no way. So Jelly Roll, I feel you. I love you, bro. And I'm telling you, now I say all this, people always think I'm ripping on Christians. I like Christians. I like people who live a good moral code, but I don't like the idea that they look at God as Sky Cop, looking down on everybody, trying to bust somebody, or like he's the bouncer outside of,
And I feel like that was what Jelly Roll was disagreeing with.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
Okay.
with his the way he assessed the
Oh,
situation.
I thought you were saying like I love you, brother, but
No.
Gotcha,
I
gotcha,
get
gotcha.
exactly. Now, Jelly Roll, for people that don't know, has lived a tough life. He is not without sin, and he probably takes it very seriously when people cast those stones because of who his wife was in a past life and all this other stuff. So it's very personal to him. And they've both turned their life around, and now I get all that. And the judgmental aspect, people, no matter how you grow into your 40s, if you fucked up in your teens and your 20s, people hold it over you forever, you know? So I get that. But I don't think of God as some bouncer outside the club going, you know, hey, bro, you know, sorry, can't let you in. You jerked off 14,221 times and you ate meat on 2 Fridays, so back in the line. I don't think that's how it works.
No.
But I do think that's how holier-than-thou judgmental people use that to then make other people feel less than or
I do think
other.
a lot of religion is like kind of that holier than thou thing. Where it is
Piety.
a judgmental thing. It's like you feel like you're better than, you know what I mean? You use the rules of these books to kind of feel better than in any religion, not just Christianity.
Especially
you know what I mean?
woke. And woke's a religion, and don't tell me it's not.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same shit.
Yeah. But, you know,
Yeah.
I guess the problem now becomes there's good to them, too. But there's that those bad actors make you think of every Christian as having some sort of like.
Well, people are just people, right? So I think everyone's using a different way to compare themselves to someone else, and then that's just a lot of ego, is what you're saying. So like, I'm doing this, so I'm better than you. So people do that with religion, people do it with money, they do it with status, they do it with whatever.
It is an inherently human thing to want to feel better than. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
Like a lot of you see that a lot. People think they could, you know, if they were in your shoes, they do a better job of your life, or if I had what he had, I'd do blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like that everyone's living their own life.
Do you? Well, first, let's say this: do you believe in God?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Do you have a religion that you follow?
No.
Do you have a religion that you follow?
I grew up Roman Catholic.
So
You know, I strayed away a little bit and just kind of started letting a lot of things in. But I'm not like, you know, I'm trying to get that part of my life back. You know, because I think there's really something nice in that. You know what I mean? Like there's really like there's some, like I'm almost envious of people who are, you know, have that really tight connection with God. Not, you know, I kind of I'm working on mine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that there's comfort in the cultural connections, in the seasons of life, you know, and hey, you're getting your baptism, you're getting your communion, there's kind of these checkpoints along the way, you know.
My beef has always just been if you're gonna tell me emphatically this happens when you die, I gotta be like, you're bullshit. You know what I mean? You can tell me what you think might happen, but if you're gonna tell me this is for sure, this, and this, that's gonna make me kind of question everything. You know what I mean? And that's what happened to me. And you know, I just think if you're, you know, anyone who's saying that's kind of, it seems like it's a bullshit artist.
I also let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah, holier than thou.
Let me
Devil's
play
advocate.
devil's advocate for a second. I think there's a very anti-Judeo-Christian movement in the country. There's a very anti-founding movement in our kind of elite institutions and in our media specifically. So I personally believe it's a little bit of either misinformation, psyop, whatever word you want to use, that the only Christians that they put out in the media are the people that are coming after somebody like Jelly Roll, where like you have your people who are either scammers or they're these judgmental, you know, human beings, where most other, you know, people, they either keep to themselves, or their religion is kept to themselves, or it's a big part of the pillars of their success.
So you think that they're trying to make Christians look more judgmental than they are?
Absolutely.
No, false. So I disagree entirely. So you have obviously Candace Owens, who has her own platform. No one's making her do anything. She's very much does whatever she wants. And then you look at someone like a creator like Russell Brand, and he did a clip the other day, and it was kind of, it was just like a call for people to just be better, to do better, to be less judgmental, and he dared to put Jesus and the Buddha in the same sentence, and the Christians came out. They came out in droves. So maybe they're bots. I'll give you that. Maybe they're bots. I have no idea. But the whole comment section were all of these Christians saying like, how dare you? The Buddha is fake. There's only one son of God. And they just got really, what's the word? Like
Defensive? Aggressive?
Not defensive. Like it's like they're like idealistic, right? It's like that is the only perspective, and not understanding that there's
like
other
narrow-minded.
Yes, they're like there's this Ricky Gervais bit, and he's atheist and he's openly atheist, and he says something along the lines of when he has an argument with someone who's very Christian or very Jewish or, you know, put in.
But he doesn't ever talk about it. Anybody who's very Muslim.
And he said that there's what, 2,000 religions in the world, something like that. So I believe in one less God than you do. So it's not that ridiculous. Like, your God is the only God, right? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, I believe in one less God than you do.
So, but there are about 3,000 to choose from that have been, you know, people who believe in.
I've done some reading, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So basically, you believe in, you deny one less God than I do. You don't believe in 2,999 gods, and I don't believe in just one more.
Right.
Yeah, and again, my issue is nothing, and I tend to agree with most things Ricky Gervais says, but I do think it's, you know, it's open season on Christians all the time. And it's not open season on Jews all the time. People say something about Jews and they lose their job immediately. We've seen that in the last couple of things. It's never, nobody ever talks about Muslims. That's still a third rail. So
well, that's because there's a real threat there. I don't think it's self-censorship in the sense of you don't want to get canceled. I think it's you don't want to get killed, and it is a real physical threat. There was this author, and he's very critical of Islam and like a lot of those topics, and he got stabbed during a speech in the throat.
We begin with breaking news. Author Salman Rushdie has been attacked and stabbed on stage at an event in Western New York. According to the Associated Press, the author was walking onto a stage in Chautauqua. This is aftermath of what happened. This is in New York and Western New York. Another man attacked the author. Rushdie, best known for his book, The Satanic Verses, which sparked many death threats over the years, including a bounty of over $3 million.
What?
Yeah, so
you don't have to worry about the Christians doing that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So now if the Christians want to be left alone, they got to start stabbing people. Like that's like
no, it's not, obviously not.
What I'm saying is that it's just getting old to me that like yes, we all know Christians can be judgmental. Yes, we know that this is not, but nobody ever talks about any of these other religions. It's always just one, always.
Yeah, because they're like kind of the whipping boy.
Yeah,
they're the ones that they don't do anything about
well,
it.
They
come at you in the comments, and then what?
Well, then they're also influencing our politics, though, so that is one aspect.
You don't think the other ones are?
I'm probably not to the same extent. Do you think that they are?
It? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
How is Judaism as a religion affecting our politics?
I think it has a remarkable effect on our foreign policy, for sure. I think an insanely outside effect.
I'm talking about the religion. I'm not talking about the people or the state of Israel.
I don't know if you could separate the two, can you?
Yeah, because Israel, although it's culturally Jewish, right? And then you have you have a big Jewish population there of over 9 million people, but it's secular. It's not like it is. It's,
how many Christians are in Mossad?
I don't know.
I would
Probably not too many.
I would venture to say 3 less than are in this room.
I agree with both you guys, though. I think you both have a point.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, say whatever you want to say. Look, I believe the book says at some point or another, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." So, fucking don't judge. Like that's, at the end of the day, man. I believe it was the prophet Sean Carter who once said, the food you eat don't make me shit."
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? The food you eat don't make me shit. Whatever you've done in your past, you know, that's you. That's your journey. Whatever. You know, we were talking about Sammy Gravano before this episode, right? And people were like, "What was it like with Sammy Gravano?" Blah blah. You know, and I'm just like, honestly, man, he was like really cool to me. I didn't know any of those other people. Like,
I happened to kill 20 guys.
What am I supposed to do? He's been cool to me.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to be like? Oh, this guy is.
I will talk to him for his transgressions.
Man, that's your.
And you're missing out.
That's your
being
prerogative.
too judge. You're being
I got no problem.
Yeah, don't be judgmental. Don't be fucking judgmental. That's something I've heard from a lot of wise people that judged earlier in their life. You know what I mean? And one of the things they learned for sure in their life is not to judge, because you don't until you know it's cliche, but until you walked a mile in that person's shoes, like how can you speak on them like that?
I think Delco's forgotten our button here, so I'll put a button on this one.
No, we didn't. We weren't gonna rock with a button on this one. we went long. We picked some pretty big topics.
But I will put a button on this before we move on, and this is my very honest truth about it, because I've been around a lot of different types of people, as we all have, and I think this stems from fear, cowardice, and insecurity. And it's that this person is not who I want my XYZ to be. I don't want my kids looking up to this person. So don't be around that person because they think it then somehow normalizes that behavior. And my argument to that is always, well, then how come you can't be the good influence with that person? How come you can't be the leader who your son or daughter or whoever can look up to and say, well, that person was the quote unquote bad guy. Everybody needs the bad guy. And my dad or my mom was so cool that he helped change them for the better. Why does it always have to be when you hang out with them, you'll then become bad? How come you can't be so good that they become good? Because it's arrogance and it's cowardice and to me, it's insecurity. I mean,
there's a rotten apple theory, and they've done a lot of studies on this, and they'll bring in like a low performer, a bad influence, etc., into a group that is high performing or good. Almost like 9 times out of 10, everyone drops down to the level of the bad apple.
So by hanging out with me, do you think you two are going to get fat?
No.
That's what I'm so. I mean, what's more likely? I hang out with you guys and I get
already
better.
eat more than you. I might get you fatter.
That's what I don't think. I think that I get that, but I also think that I believe in the great man theory, where if somebody is a true leader, if somebody is a true tribal leader, if somebody is a good person that is an individual, that isn't a follower, that isn't a collectivist, that isn't looking for a group to coagulate into, you know what I'm saying? Then they can then become the pillar that everybody can aspire to. You know, I don't
Wow, think it's a big responsibility, but yeah, I take it on.
Attaboy. He says, holding his nipples. Oh God, I'll say it again.
It's a little chilly.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, so you have any final thoughts on that, or what's did we cover it?
I think you coagulated it.
We coagulated our nippleculases. Yeah. Speaking of coagulation, apparently working out is good for you.
I think the most interesting finding of the last decade. Your muscles, they secrete chemicals and proteins when you exercise that are also really good for your brain health. And one of the first papers, almost 10 years ago, that was published explaining that when you contract your muscles, they literally secrete these proteins into your bloodstream that make you resilient to stress and can protect you from depression. The scientists called them hope molecules. This idea that literally your muscles are manufacturing like antidepressant molecules, and the only way to get them into your bloodstream where they can then travel to your brain is you have to contract your muscles. Like, that's it. But your muscles it's like a pharmacy, and anything you do that contracts them, walking, hiking, running, dancing, weightlifting, swimming, anything, you are going to be dumping hope molecules into your bloodstream that when they get to your brain, they work as an antidepressant, and they also help people recover from trauma. Like that's like a miracle.
Nick, thoughts?
Yeah, man. Be kind, don't judge, and work out.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Anytime you get, I guess they're calling it hope molecules. I've always called them endorphins. But I know, I could wake up feeling like shit, and I go and get a hard workout in. That's like my vitamin for the day. It's like my coffee. That's like I'm already feeling better. You get a hard workout in and really push it. You're gonna have your dopamine or whatever, hope molecules, endorphins, whatever you want to call it. Fucking working out and working out hard is gonna make you feel better.
Candace?
Duh.
Yeah, but I think the more than the duh on it is like the contracting of muscles and all that. I remember reading. Who was it? Someone was saying that you want to stand. Maybe it was Tony Robbins of all people. He was saying you want to stand.
It's been debunked so many times.
Standing in the Superman pose?
Yeah, it does not do anything.
Really?
They call it power postures.
Yeah, the Wonder Woman stance.
Yeah, standing like Wonder Woman or Superman for 2 minutes.
Yep.
Or like you see guys like this, pull back like that for 2 minutes. Literally increases your testosterone in your biochemistry within 2 minutes by 20%. It drops cortisol by 18%, which is the stress hormone, and it increases your chance of taking a more risky behavior, which is what's required of a leader, by 33%.
Yeah, so do you want to
Go, please, go for it.
So Tony Robbins made this very, very popular, and it has been debunked. But he's saying that by doing certain powerful postures, it'll actually change like your chemistry, and then it'll boost your confidence and lower stress, and you'll be a better performer. And
like specifically standing in the Superman
Yeah.
pose,
Yeah,
looking
maybe
at yourself,
placebo
smiling.
effect.
yeah, and then you have a
yeah.
whole bunch of women that are now trying to like be alpha, and how's that working out for everyone? But no, it's been debunked. It doesn't do anything to your neurochemistry. It doesn't make you more confident going into a situation.
If you believe it, though.
If you
like a
believe, but then
placebo
that's
effect, you know
placebo
what I mean?
effect, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
I feel like
also
there's a place for that.
perhaps, but I feel like a lot of people that are doing it are probably the women, and then that is not what they should be doing. Like, you shouldn't be going into boardrooms like this and trying to like puff out your chest to men. That's gonna make a man want to just like do the same.
I'm the
back.
alpha now. You guys ever seen that video?
You gotta lead with softness.
Have you guys seen that video?
Yeah, I have
With
not.
the kid? You haven't seen that?
No.
Yo, real quick, if you could pull up that video, if you know what I'm talking about, Delco. I'm the alpha now. The kid's yelling at his teacher. It's hilarious. But I think one thing that's cool about it is they say how it's good for your brain. And a lot of like, like kind of pseudo intellectuals like to differentiate. There's like meatheads and there's like nerds or smart people. You know what I mean? And like, I think that I think a lot of like quote unquote meatheads are smart people. It's not just about your body. It's not just a vapid like trying to look good and vanity. It's like it actually makes you feel good. You know what I mean? You could perform better mentally after a workout. You know, I know even just doing the podcast, like if I feel slower if I didn't work out, like mentally, you know?
Weird change over the last like 15 years, 10 years maybe, is like all those nerds you're talking about are now like super jacked up bros who are sitting there quoting theories and like scientific, like Andrew
Like
Huberman.
stoicism
It's like,
and-
Oh my gosh,
It's
have
like
you
all
seen his
yoked up.
content? Oh.
Like,
You like it? Or no?
God, yeah.
yeah.
His like shirtless stuff when he was hiking, I was like, I had no idea that was under that button up, and I'm so excited. I'm your number one fan now.
Wasn't there a thing where like working out or going to the gym is right wing?
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't that like some sort of thing
Yeah,
that was
Yeah.
being
it's
pushed?
like a gateway to being a Nazi or something.
Yeah.
I saw that on Rogan. They were pulling that up, and but that's the thing. You're seeing all these dudes. They're all like, hey,
Can you imagine someone not wanting to go to a gym because they don't want to be like they're actually afraid of being a fucking Nazi?
I just don't understand why anybody wants to be thought of as
Nazi.
left wing these days. Like, why is that still a selling point? Like, why is being left wing still seen as being like good and noble and like smart or to me, if you're unashamedly left wing these days, it's just like, man, you are an obedient cog of the machine. Like,
Back to the I'm the alpha now. I watched this clip real quick. It's funny.
Out of hands these days.
I've had enough of this. This punishment stuff is going to stop.
You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do and not do?
I am now the alpha.
Bro. Not how this works. I am the teacher.
The alpha takes priority over the teacher. The alpha takes priority over everything. Do you not know how that works?
The teacher is telling the alpha to sit in this seat right now.
And the alpha doesn't have to listen to orders from its lowers.
Well, you don't have to listen, but the consequences that follow are going to still apply to the alpha.
The alpha doesn't take punishment.
Let's see how well that works out for you, okay?
so that's the Andrew Tate origin story, huh? That's how it started.
Yeah, when you were talking about like that, the women in the power centers, I am now the alpha.
I've never seen that. That's so good.
Is that for real, or was that like a?
I think that was real.
That was
that's
real.
for real.
That was that was like Gru. That was like Despicable
Oh, he's so
Me.
sweet.
Yeah.
I side with the kid on
Oh
that
man,
one.
teacher had some great patience, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, the teacher is telling the alpha to sit in his seat.
that's,
The alpha doesn't have to listen.
yeah, that's not how this works.
Don't you know how the alpha works?
The teacher's thinking there the whole time like 35 fucking grand a year for this. Oh my god.
Hey, that kid was bold, man. He went for it.
Hey.
He went for it. You know what I mean?
Good for him.
He's like, this punishment stuff is over.
A little rock star.
Yeah, hell yeah. Rock on with your bad self.
Yeah, that
I'll
kid-
fuck with you, kid.
Yeah, that kid's probably working at Meta right now, and he's the guy that's shadow banning all my stuff. Fuck that kid.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, speaking of
the alpha. Delete.
Speaking of alpha women,
speaking of alphas, let's see what Kanye's ex is up to.
Are you dating anyone? Oh, no. I have like sworn off men. I just, it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I'm like, I'm happy. Everything's fine. Like, why would I want to throw anything in the mix that might, like, mess up my feng shui, so to speak? Like,
Okay, dude, what if you find yourself like me, almost 8 years later, still single?
aren't you so happy though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
I feel like they're lying.
I am.
That didn't seem genuine.
prove it a little more.
Yes. What is it that would be a great...
That I'm looking for?
Yeah.
I've made this list. So
Okay, good. I want it.
it would need to be
got a
someone
list,
who
though.
also has kids so that they understand that, like, they can never come first. That's a big one. Then it would have to be someone that's okay with seeing me once a week for a 2-hour window. Also, they have a driving force in their life that, like, isn't me. You know what I mean? I can't be the center of somebody's life. Like, I can't have someone's world revolve around me. I tend to get into those kinds of relationships, and it just never ends well because ultimately whatever vision of me they're projecting onto me isn't who I actually am. And then when they see who I actually am, they're like, oh, well,
Well, you'll love me. In every relationship I've ever
Well,
been
hold
in,
on. There's one
I
more.
always come
There's
first.
one more clip.
One more Julia Fox
Yeah.
from Uncut Gems, the Adam Sandler movie.
That's where
That's where
she's
she's from. Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
a baddie in that movie.
She's pretty.
I like forget her a little bit. I don't know. She rubbed me the wrong way there.
Well, because she was cheating on her mans with The Weeknd.
On Kanye
No, she was cheating on Sandler.
with The Weeknd?
Because Sandler was cheating on his wife. Come on.
Uncut Gems.
With The Weeknd? He's in that?
Yeah, watch the
No, I
movie.
forgot. I did watch it a while ago. He died. Spoiler.
Oh!
I had to prove I watched it. You forced me into that, dude. Don't put my back against the wall. I come out swinging, bro.
Oof!
I'm a fucking animal, dude.
It's been out
Don't
for a
play.
while.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. For
All right, let's play this clip with old Matt Rife.
And Napoleon dies at the end.
The Titanic sinks.
I hate men. No.
That's a lie.
All right. Candace, what are we looking at here?
I think you're looking at, in my opinion, a bad mom.
Ooh.
She's got a son, right?
Spicy.
So you, that's a big accusation, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think you can't you can't go on all of these public interviews and think that it's funny and try to get women to hate men when you're supposed to be raising one. Like, what is he gonna think? That there's something fundamentally wrong with me because I was born a boy. Like, I'm sorry, being born a boy is not a condition. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And the minute that the sexes stop fighting with each other, I think we're gonna all be in a better place. But it's just insane, and I think it's really irresponsible.
I totally agree. I think the division amongst, sexes, genders, race, all that stuff is just, it's fucking nuts. It's really crazy. It's like an idiot's game.
It's almost
It's a
like
distraction.
It's also probably inorganic, right? I mean, like it's probably being shoved on us. But she is single and super hot, so let me defend her. Somebody that attractive their whole life has probably seen more of the worst men have to offer than anybody else. Somebody who let's say that they developed early, they've been sexualized from the time that they were 14, 15 years old, and they have had every man they've ever met either be gay or want to put something inside of them. So if every time I looked at somebody, I knew that they wanted to fucking penetrate me, I'd probably have a certain feeling about that gender as well. So I think it's not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily right, obviously, how she feels.
Well, I'm
but
not
I kind of
necessarily
understand
the
it.
Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I don't have that opinion of men.
Well,
Do
you've
you know what I
also
mean?
yeah, but I mean, but speak on that for a little bit. You know, I mean, you've had, I would imagine, some more negative interactions with people than a lot of other women have, right? So why do you not have that same kind of jaded perspective on it? Because she's not alone. I've heard Megan Fox say this. I've heard it seems to be, you know, and they're in LA.
Do you think she's like a sane, healthy-minded woman?
Megan Fox?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's something with the last name.
She's like drinking her boyfriend's
Fox
blood,
sisters.
and
Yeah.
I think both of her sons are trans, like both of
Yep.
them, and that's statistically impossible.
Well, you're also talking about people that are in LA. You're talking about people that had to, you know, view themselves not necessarily as a human being, but as a commodity, right? And it's not like she's dating Tom, the waiter at Applebee's. The people that she dates are incredibly high value individuals who are looking for a certain thing as well, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, she has spent a lot of her life, whether she intended to or not, she spent a lot of her life as a trophy. I mean, that's something that you achieve. That's something that you get to put on your mantle for everybody to be like, damn, that dude got that. Not necessarily to be my wife, my partner. You know, this is the buck. This is the 16-point buck that I nailed.
Well, it's all relative. I think it's all relative. I think like you could be a 10 and you're dealing with shitty men and shitty women because like there's the jealousy, and you could be a 3 and you're dealing with shitty men and shitty women because of jealousy, because it's like no one's going so out of their league, right? Like people tend to kind of congregate in their level. So if you're, you know, not attractive.
I don't know if that's true. Yes or no? Do you see when we were in...
No, I hear what you're saying, Candace. You know, like people like us, like we're like over.
Right, like the pretty people.
No. I think this is like a thing of like she's hurt. She's been hurt obviously by something in the past, and everybody, you know, gets hurt by something in their past, and there's got to be a certain way that you respond to it. You got to respond to it with resilience. You don't go hating an entire sex.
Especially when you have a son.
That's no.
You know what I mean? It's your
100%.
job to heal your shit.
Yeah.
So if you're a woman and you're feeling like, man, I agree with what she's saying, but I want to heal my shit, what should she do?
I mean, it's all dependent on whatever your trauma is or whatever your issue is with your dad or the masculine. It's usually your dad, honestly. They always say, like, the dad sets up the example of what a woman is supposed to look for in a husband. So how he treats her is what she's going to kind of look for. And unfortunately, we have a whole bunch of shitty dads, and mine included.
My dad was pretty great.
But
is pretty great.
It comes
Kevin
down to
Gall's
like
a fucking
worthiness
G.
too, right? So if you have this underlying or subconscious feeling of unworthiness, you're gonna start dating men that treat you that way because you don't feel like you deserve better. So a lot of it just comes down to believing your own worth and your own value and putting in the time for personal development and reading.
Do you think that's something that happened to you and you had to kind of circumvent that?
Yeah, I had a lot of bad dating behaviors. Like, I was always dating guys that, like, I absolutely knew I was not going to end up with, that were just bad news.
What was your attraction? What brought you there?
What do you mean?
What brought you into a situation that you knew wasn't right for you?
I think it was just so, like anything else, you have so much pain in something that it's, you either say, I'm going to submit and this is going to be my life, or I have to do something wildly different to get out of it. And I was in a really bad relationship, back and forth between like 2 different guys, and both of them were really shitty. So if I was I'd be with one, we'd break up, and then the other, and you know what I mean? And in my mind, that was it. Like, I had to figure it out with one of them because I was never going to...
had to be the one in your brain.
Right, because like no one else would ever love me. It was impossible. I was like so unlovable that was my lot. And then you realize like that's ridiculous, and that is just some program.
What did it take for you to realize that?
So I got sick. I was told I was infertile because of I had got endometriosis, and it was really bad. Like, I had to have surgery for it and everything. So I was told I was infertile, and then the guy that I was with for like 8 years basically said, fuck you, because I wanted kids, and started going out with other girls, doing drugs, partying, drinking while I was at home by myself. And I was like, this is not the life I want. Yeah, this is insane.
So you ditched that guy, and then kind of from that hard experience, you were able to grow and really find your own self-worth and shit like that?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a process.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think everybody.
I just think that's something people, especially women, young women, should hear. You know what I mean?
No doubt about it. Everybody has their shit, man. Everybody has their shit. I do want to circle back to one thing you said before about how everybody's kind of like at their level. I don't think that's true. I think men outkick their coverage far more than women do. Especially, I was going to say, down when we were in Medellin, it was insane.
What are you talking about?
The, like, an uglier,
but
older guy.
Those guys are paying for it. Like
but I mean,
prostitutes that they're going to.
No,
that doesn't count, Gerard.
I'm not.
What?
Bullshit.
I was saying that doesn't count.
That's
yeah,
nonsense.
if they're paying for it, doesn't count.
No, it's not a genuine like love connection. That.
So how do you explain LA?
They're paying for it.
So then you think every woman who's in a relationship with an older, uglier guy it's just out of monetary convenience?
It's a security on some level. Financial security, reliability.
You don't think it's going to be like a certain like I know he's not going to cheat, or if he cheats, I don't like him enough to care. So it's like
I don't think that I don't like him enough to care. I think that there's just a certain social understanding,
like
a contract.
Thing,
yeah. Like he's providing for me. So
I think it's a little bit of maybe they like the comfort. They're staying in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Not taking the chance to find genuine love. And are just like, you know what, I can have this guy and I can have all these things too. You know what I mean? I think there's a little cost-benefit analysis going on.
I can't wait to be in a divorce and tell the judge, I was told if I pay for it, it didn't count. So what are we even doing?
I've heard people say,
what are we even doing
your
here?
first marriage for love and your second marriage for money. I heard that's like a woman's thing.
The
first marriage is for like true love, and then your next marriage is for money.
Well, that just goes to show
you've heard that before too.
That just goes to show the type of Jersey Shore princesses I was dating, because I heard the first one's for money and the second one's for love. So yeah,
that would make more sense.
It's like way more sense, right? Shit. You know what else makes a lot of sense? What this dude says in a mall, of all places.
People are just walking in front of it like we're not recording.
It happens. People are people. None of it's intentional. Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence. It's far more likely that they're all in their own worlds, doing their own thing. They're not paying attention to the world around them. And we all do it every day, whether you're driving, walking down the street. All of our lives are just as complex as everybody else's. Everything you have going on, they have going on. Nobody knows what everybody else is going through. We also need to be a little more self-aware and aware of the world around us.
That was deep.
You gotta look deep to find the deep things. If all you ever do in your life is stay at the surface, you'll never find anything worth exploring.
Are you real?
I try to be.
Are you an AI?
No, not at all.
Yo, I freaking love that kid. Protect that kid at all costs.
Yeah.
I hope, and whoever that kid is, someone reach out to that kid. Let's get that kid on the pod. That kid's freaking awesome.
So
I didn't like a little bit the way that the cameraman was kind of making faces, kind of clowning him. Dude, that kid it was almost what we were talking about before, not being judgmental, shit like that. You know what I mean? I thought that kid was freaking brilliant. He was deep. I love that kid.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah. That kid ever needs anything, let me know.
Yeah, so fuck that kid.
What?
I reached out to him after that. It was like, bro, we love you. We'll fly you to Florida. Come on.
I was about to throw my water bottle at you.
And
wait, what happened?
He looked at our content and said he doesn't think he's a fit for our show, and then he didn't want to come on.
I'm going to need a message him. I'm messaging right now. You know that kid?
Frogman. I got the DMs and all this
stuff. Send me his information.
Yeah. I reached out to him. I was like, man, I got to tell you, man, I was really impressed with your message.
We still like you, Frogman.
When did you message? When was this?
It was 6 months ago, whenever this came out. He was like, I don't know. I have work. I work 2 jobs. I was like, bro, I'll fly you out. Like, come on down.
I'll talk to him. This is more my field than yours, Gerard. I'm the producer of Slick and Thick. I bring on the guests. Why did you even do this? You ruined our chances with Frogman? That's his name, right, Frogman?
Yeah, Frogman.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I swear to God. I was nice. I
don't care.
In what world?
You send that my way. You send that my way. You're probably, fuck you, Frogman. You want to come here? You're just a little jerk off. You motherfucker. You fucked it up. You're an all-time hammer. You're just a hammer. If I need to bash a nail, I'll get you. You know what I mean? I can't believe it. I'll talk, Frogman. I'm gonna reach out.
I'm a big gay hammer.
Now Frogman's definitely not coming up.
I reached out to him. I thought it was brilliant.
I fucking love that kid. I love exactly what he said.
I can't believe that many people were at a mall.
He said that shit so perfectly. It almost makes me wonder if it was like faked,
set up. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No.
But if that, I believe, I'd like to believe that was just genuine. That was something he learned in his life. You know what I mean? Like, don't think it's malice. People are just unaware, and they're, you know what I mean? We could all be more aware, like, so understanding.
Yeah.
We all could. Everybody. I wish everybody could watch that clip.
Yeah.
Everybody should watch that clip.
Giving each other the benefit of the doubt is something that has died with the social media age. I even realize it with like text messages and DMs and stuff like that. Sometimes I interpret things that are said.
It's hard to
completely different than what it was intended. Oh yeah,
through text messages.
Very much so.
It's definitely a dangerous thing. I'll almost sometimes go. Like I'll sometimes be like, wow, I put 3 exclamation points in there so that the person knows I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's a difficult medium for communication.
Yeah, even emojis come off sometimes as like passive
like the
aggressive
thumb
or
up means
sarcastic.
like fuck you.
Yeah, what's that
nowadays
mean?
to the
Exactly.
kids, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like they're like, all right, guy. You know what I mean? But usually the thumbs up was like cool.
That's a generation thing. I had a girl get really mad at me because she said we're gonna meet later or whatever, and I gave the thumbs up, and she thought I was blowing her off, and I was like, no, I meant yes. I was like, what happened here? She's like, no, you blew me off. I was like, what? I gave you thumbs up. What are you talking about? She's like, yeah. Thumbs off is like, no, it's not. Yeah. My FU is the pinch.
Right.
I pin. That's the pin. Or they got a middle finger. I don't. Yeah. Who does the thumbs up?
Use that middle thing.
Although I will say, if I just type back K, yeah, I'm kind of pissy with you.
Yeah, and I could see how the thumb, like if you write like a long message and they just hit you with the thumb, it is a little like you send the heart or you
double
the
tap.
message.
I double tap a heart.
Okay, gotcha. You love the message.
Yeah.
That's the thing I started doing more too. Like I started like liking messages or loving messages. It's like I let people know you read that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I
kind of judge dudes who like send heartbacks on the messages though. I'm like, the thumbs up would have been fine.
Yeah, no, you got to use a little tact and a little discretion with how much you're loving every message.
There's some people who double tapping every message.
Yeah,
not a big fan. What's your passive aggressive text?
Text etiquette.
I just go to aggression.
Straight aggression?
Yeah, I don't like the passive aggressive stuff.
I'll just leave it. I'll leave it on.
You leave it on red?
Yeah, I'm like, there's a time in a conversation where it's just done.
Well, yeah, you don't want to argue.
You're not getting my energy. Say again?
You don't want to argue in text either.
Yeah, no. But if I could tell is for sure being shitty or like saying something, I'm like,
I'll tell you this
I'm good.
for all the ladies listening out there. If I ever get a text or wake up to a text that is longer than the actual screen of the phone, it's not getting read.
Yeah.
It's not getting read. Not only is it not getting responded to, I'm not reading that.
Yeah.
I'm not reading that.
Yeah.
No, let's try again. Anything that was that long, you should have called me or we got to meet. If it's that important for you,
I think we need to make phone calls more of a thing.
They're going away.
You could do, people are like weird if you like leave a voicemail or something like that. I can't believe you left a voicemail.
You know what I'm big on, and a lot of people apparently don't like it, but I like the voice notes.
No, I don't like that shit.
I'm a big fan.
I don't like it. Don't like it.
Why not?
Just call me. Just call me and tell me. Don't just talk at me. Yeah, bro. Hey, dude, I don't like it, and I gotta like hit the thing, and I gotta raise the volume. It's weird. It's weird, and especially like if I'm texting and your voice note, I don't know. I don't like the voice note really. I forget to like respond to it. I'm like I gotta listen, and then I gotta now I gotta start voice note. Just call me. Just call me.
You're not a voice noter?
I do it if someone else initiates it, then I'll do it. But it is inconvenient because if you open it and then you're not someplace that you can hear it, then you just miss the whole thing and you can't save it.
Maybe I'll change, guys. Maybe I'll get on the voice.
You know what some people are doing?
I'm
that's like a big flirting thing people are doing now. They're sending each other like videos of themselves talking. And it's like a video
that's
text
cool. That's kind of cooler. That's cooler because you can at least watch that again if you need to. Like you know what I mean? That was like Snapchatting and shit.
Marco Polo is a new app.
That's
that
what.
does
That's.
Marco
that's.
Polo,
I was trying to think of the name of it. Yeah.
What is that? Is that a dating app?
No, it's like a social media app. So it's kind of like text, but it's with video. So you just like kind of like a walkie-talkie with video. You just send it back and forth.
It's like Snapchat for people over 35. It's pretty much.
It has a young user base, actually.
Speaking of young users,
Nice transition.
this man learns a life lesson over
$10,000
cookies.
cash, or wait a minute, this 2 out of the box Oreo cookies. Huh? Are you sure? That's $10,000 cash. Do you want the Oreo cookies? Are you sure? Yes. Okay, go ahead.
How much clearer can it be? Leave the kids alone. Let kids be kids.
So David Harris there using a very interesting video to make a political point there. I think obviously
David Harris was the guy at the end of the video?
Yes, yeah, David, good guy.
I
Good guy, David Harris. Yeah, he's a good guy. But so, what are our thoughts on that, Candace?
Oh my gosh. It's just insane that this is still an issue or that this is still not common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, they're kids. Why do you want to talk to my kid? Why is it so important that you can influence his, quote, gender fluidity, or that he needs to learn about your pronouns or who you want to take to bed? Like, it's just inappropriate. It's inappropriate. If you're an adult, do whatever you want to do. I truly mean that. I do not want to be in your business. I don't want you in my business. But if you come for my kid, like, Lord help you.
Lord.
Amen.
Lord.
A freaking man, Candace.
What do you got,
Well
Mick?
said. I don't think I could say anything much better than that. I do think this stuff that's being, I think we're wasting our freaking time and we're hurting kids at the same time. We're not teaching them shit that's going to make them better and really help them. I mean, yes, there's a degree of empathy that needs to be taught, different strokes for different folks. Let's be nice to everyone, but it's just gone way too far. And the great Gerard the Truth Michaels, one of my favorite things you say about how our empathy has been weaponized. Mm-hmm. And it's such a fact. And I think they're taking it so far that, you have kids. I want to have kids one day. Like it makes me not want to send my kids to normal school.
Well, you shouldn't.
I want to homeschool these.
Yeah,
these
don't send
these
your
kids.
kid to normal school. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
No.
I don't jive with that. I don't rock with that at all.
I think the kid's smart. I think the kid understands that if we elect this administration for another 4 years, 2 cookies is going to be at least $10,000. So, he's getting ahead of inflation and getting himself some assets. He's
stupid.
Yeah, I'd take the assets.
$10K. He ate 2 cookies that would be given. Imagine I hope a kid would be like, how much cookies can I buy with this?
Yeah, exactly.
How much cookies I get with this? Well, you could have all the cookies.
It's hilarious. We were with Dave Landau, great
Little
guy.
patience, which is important again.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah, and patience for these kids. They're gonna want to make these decisions young. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna fuck people up. I think
it's billions of dollars.
It's fucking people up, and it's gonna fuck people up worse. What is billions of dollars?
That whole industry,
the industry?
now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't even think the fact that this is even a conversation, like you said, I do a comedy bit, or I used to do a bit about when they were trying. Do you remember like back in 2016 when Hillary was running? They were kind of really trying to push, or at least they were testing the waters to see how a 16-year-old vote would go, lowering the voting age to 16. Mm-hmm. And there was like not as much pushback as you would anticipate. It was so weird that at the same time they were raising cigarettes from 18 to 19 at the time. Cigarettes are now 21 to buy. Yeah. But they were changing it from 18 to 19 at the time. They were trying to lower the voting age to 16. And I remember thinking, like, man, at 16 years old, I was sold oregano, told it was weed. And this is a 100% true story. The guy just gave me the thing from the pizzeria, the glass oregano from the pizzeria, and I'm looking at the top with the holes in it, the slits, and I'm like, is this oregano? He's like, nah, dog, that's a grinder. And I'm like, I didn't want to seem like I didn't know. I didn't seem like it wasn't cool, so I bought the oregano from this dude. Same weekend, there's a party at my house. We drink all my dad's liquor, realize he puts lines on the liquor, and then we fill up the liquor with rubbing alcohol. Because we thought it was alcohol, almost killed everybody that I loved when they had people over there. Yeah. That was me at 16.
Fuck.
So do you think that 16-year-olds
That's wild.
or
I can't believe I never heard that.
That's 16. I shouldn't be voting.
well, then do you think anyone under age should also not have to pay taxes?
Yeah. I don't think anybody should have to pay
Well, I mean, yeah,
taxes.
I don't think anyone should either.
I think sales tax is good enough. Everybody pays taxes already. Yeah, like when I was a child, I thought I was Daryl Strawberry. Should my family have tattooed me mahogany and put tape my right hand behind my back? Like, no. I thought I was a Ghostbuster until I was like 6. Like, this is childhood. This is what we do. We imagine. We have an imagination. We like the fact that it's like, oh, let the children lead. What are you, morons? Like, what are you, idiots? What are we talking about?
I think there is something to let the children lead, but it can't be the way that I think. Maybe that's being taken too literally. I've heard that there's these certain schools. I don't think it's Socratic, but it's like where the teacher is supposed to be the
guide.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more the student. And
is that Montessori? Is that a
Montessori? It might be something like
it's
that.
It's called child-centered or student-centered, and that's typically like the Montessori schools and the Waldorf schools and then the Socratic schools. But the teachers are called guides typically, so even though it's child-focused, it's still you are supposed to have adults kind of nudging you along to make the right decisions.
I dig that stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think where from the mouth of babes. Let them talk what they, their truth self before the world starts, fucking with them and changing them. Let them speak kind of their truth. And all right, so why do you feel that way? Well, because you know what I mean. And they actually start like kind of learning themselves, learning, about the world. Like they're asking questions, and then even the teacher is going to get a great perspective from that. That's the kind of like thing I think would be more useful in schools.
Yeah, I think we made a big mistake when we got rid of titles and replaced them with pronouns. I think that when we stopped calling people Mr. and Mrs., Dr., so-and-so, and started saying, my pronouns are, call me by my, it went from starting with humility and respect to coming from a position of arrogance and conflict, right? Because if I say, hello, Mrs. Horback, how are you doing today? There's a certain amount of respect. There's a certain amount of respect I've already, and then I give you the opportunity to say, oh no, call me Candace. And now right there, we've connected.
Yeah.
I've shown humility, you've reciprocated, and now we're on a certain level, right? If I come up and I go to you, hello,
hey ma'am, hey Mrs.,
hey,
how
ma'am,
are you?
How are you doing?
It's sir.
Yeah.
And it's like, they could be like, I prefer to be called sir. Okay.
Which is fine. But if they do it that way, my pronouns are, when people introduce themselves to a group, my name is Gerard, my pronouns are he, him, I'm never calling you he, him. Because you said that, you're never getting called it now. Good luck. Good luck.
I don't know I agree with that.
Good luck.
I don't agree with that.
You don't get to tell me what your interpretation of the English language is.
You can if you ask me, but if you do it like nicely, if you're not like, I'm a this, like if you say it respectfully, hey, I prefer to be called, I'm a, you know what I mean? I might look like a boy, but I prefer to be called a she.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, sister.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or people get mad that you say like bro or dude, and they're like, chill with the gendered language. And it's like, I never hope I'm around you ever again. Ever.
Has someone ever said that to you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In comedy, man. It's horrible. Which is why I don't hang around most comedians anymore. So it's, and it has nothing to do with their feelings. It has to do with them showing their empathy,
virtue signaling.
Their virtue signaling,
amen.
For sure. And then it's also like fashion, and it's also them letting you know that they're in charge, that they're in control.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
it's like a power play.
It's a power play, my man. So like when we went from
easy with the gendered.
Yeah. And on that, for Mr. Golfer, Mrs. Horback, I'm he, him, Gerard, and we'll see you next week on Canceled Weekly, a very special holiday Canceled Weekly.
Woohoo!